Unlike in Western societies, the group is seen as more important than the individual.
As someone who comes from Western culture, for many people, including myself, this sense of hierarchy in Japanese society can be a bit daunting or a bit intimidating. Konnichiwa, minasan. Kyo desu. So in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to 5 reasons why Japanese are so polite. So without further ado, ikimashou.
5 reasons why the Japanese are so polite. Japan has a population of 126 million, much of which are found in the larger cities of Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, and Kobe. With a high density of people crowded into a relatively small space, people have to learn to get along with one another. At the same time, Japan is made up of local Japanese, with very few foreigners among them, so they are also very similar in culture, values, and manners. They have been described as being one nation, one civilization, one language, one culture, and one race, and are actually one of very few countries in today's globalized world to be so homogeneous. Politeness is a typical characteristic of the Japanese that other people admire, and here are 5 possible reasons why. Number 1. Japanese philosophy and religion. For the Japanese, the country and family are considered more important than self. This idea stems from the teachings of Confucius, the Chinese sage who laid down strict codes of conduct, as well as Shinto religious beliefs. For centuries, Japanese have been taught from a young age that they need to be responsible members of their families and their countries and serve others' needs before their own. As a result, the people became obedient and relatively passive, used to having their lives regulated by rules. Number 2. Group culture and rules. Japanese culture is known to be highly complicated with very fine differences between what is seen to be right and wrong, and it continues to have a strong influence on anyone who wants to live and work in Japan. Unlike in Western societies, the group is seen as more important than the individual. If you step out of line on any aspect, it has a strong impact on the way other people see you. Your basic character and values are at stake if they judge you negatively. This is reflected very clearly in the Japanese language itself, which has both a formal and a casual form, and which makes learning Japanese very difficult for outsiders. The good thing about these guidelines and expectations is that it helps maintain social harmony and makes living together go much more smoothly. It is like the oil that makes the tricky parts of a machine move in tandem with all the other parts instead of causing irritation and friction when rubbing against each other. Number 3. Children's upbringing and schooling. Japanese parents place a whole lot of importance on teaching social manners so that the child avoids causing trouble for them and for others. Many stress the value of learning the social rules so that their behavior is not criticized by other people.
True.
At the same time, parents value closeness with their children and spend time together on various activities. This parent-child closeness positively helps children want to please their parents, and naturally they accept the rules and regulations that their parents set for them. In school too, children learn proper ways of behaving together. For example, they are taught to clean up their classrooms and school grounds every day and exhibit extremely polite manners towards teachers and other adults. They enjoy learning to work together in groups on projects and in other forms of learning. Many schools also require their students to wear uniforms, which makes them even more aware of their oneness. Number 4. Extremely close encounters. Rules guide the way the Japanese live and interact with others, and everyone is generally very polite to each other no matter if you are friends or strangers. They try to avoid all kinds of conflict, especially in the public eye. This is partly because there is so little personal space available in the overcrowded cities, and people know they need to cooperate and respect others to make life flow more smoothly for themselves. For example, if you talk loudly into your mobile phone while riding a packed train to work, you are very likely to annoy other commuters. If you smell bad or dress sloppily, you will have that same effect as well. Number 5. Individual status and the formal pecking order. The way a Japanese uses everyday language clearly shows who they are and who they speak to. There are formal rules for speaking differently to different people depending on their age and relationship to you. Even a simple greeting like, "Good morning," can be formal or informal depending on who you say it to and when. For example, the older members of a family, like a grandmother or father, must be addressed in the formal form to show their importance in the group. This goes for the boss of your company or colleagues holding a higher title than you, unless you don't mind being instantly fired. Even bowing to another person to say thank you, already considered to be very respectful in other cultures, has different rules for levels, depending on who is doing the bowing or is being bowed to.
Yeah, very accurate. I would say very accurate video. As someone who comes from Western culture, for many people, including myself, this sense of hierarchy in Japanese society can be a bit daunting or a bit intimidating. Because in Western society, pecking order and level of hierarchy is not as well established as, let's say, Japanese society, where things are more labeled black and white. You do this, you don't do this. But in America, things are a bit more muddy. You know, there is English that is more formal, but it's very common to use informal English even to people you don't know. Of course, in business type situations, that may be different because it's business, but I would say compared to America, Japan is definitely a more respectful and more clear on societal instructions and things and do's and don'ts. And what can you say to older people or people who have a higher position than you? And as I've said countless times on this channel, I do appreciate Japan's sense of keeping the harmony in the country. However, though, I would say I would hope Japan doesn't take things to the extreme in which like people avoid necessary hard conversations and confrontations to move forward in a positive direction. I hope people are not, used to like not being honest and at least, confronting things that need to be confronted. And I also know in Japan, there's also a lack of individualism. So to me, I think there's two extremes. There's one side where it's all about the individual, and which can be very selfish and not caring about the group. But then there's the other extreme where all you care about is group and you lack empathy or sympathy or even, catering to the individual's life or needs, where it's all about the group. So it's like the person themselves sacrifices themselves for the greater good. But at one point, does one consider, okay, you need to have some kind of individual personality or character or distinctness from everyone else. I think having a good balance of both is ideal because I think extremes in either direction are horrible. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I had a recent video on the gaming channel, the BrooklynTokyo Coliseum, about me failing at Cat Mario. And here's a clip of that. Just take your time.
In a certain way, sexy hiking is the perfect embodiment of a beat game. It's built almost entirely out of bound and recycled parts. And it's one of the most games.
We're going back over. Yes. Yes. No, no.
You just lost a lot of progress. That's a deep frustration and a real punch in the gut.
Shut up! So if you guys are interested in watching that, the link will be in the description below. Also, to the left of me, you'll see the left card for that channel. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Also hit that bell as well to get notified whenever we post a video. 本当ありがとうございます。みんな気をつけて。じゃあね。